Hello, my name is Rita Simpson-Vlach, and I'm the Educational Materials Developer at Michigan Language Assessment. In this brief video, I'll be going over some general tips to help you prepare for the listening section of MET. First, I'll give you a quick overview of what you can find, what you can expect to find on the listening test, and then we'll get into a few general study tips. So the listening section of MET has three parts. In parts 1 and 2, you'll listen to conversations by two people. In part 3, you'll hear short talks by one person. Each of the talks or conversations and the questions that follow are heard only once. The questions and the answer options are printed on the screen. As for the topics that you will hear, they are generally topics that do not require any kind of specialized knowledge, so everyday topics. In categories like personal topics, they could be public, educational, or occupational topics. And what kind of question types or listening subskills will you find? Basically, these fall into three main categories: main idea types of questions, detail questions, and inferential questions. So main idea questions are pretty much what they sound like. What is the conversation mainly about? Or what is the purpose of the conversation, for example? Detail questions, similarly, are pretty much what they sound like. They would ask details about specific details that you would have heard in the conversation or the talk. They could answer questions like who, what, when, where, or how. They could also ask about specific vocabulary. Did you understand the meaning of key words or expressions from the talk or conversation? And lastly, inference questions ask you to think beyond the literal meaning of the words that you hear, and to draw conclusions, make predictions, and understand implications or rhetorical functions. So how do you prepare for the test now that you know a little bit about it? Here are three main points to keep in mind in your preparation. Expand your vocabulary. You'll want to find authentic listening sources, and you have to practice active listening. So to expand your vocabulary, this is important, of course, for any language learning skill. Keep in mind that MET is a multi-level test, so you want to make sure you have a range of vocabulary knowledge between A2 and C1 on the CEFR. Make sure you understand common spoken idioms and phrases. Make sure that you understand how all the vocabulary that you've learned is pronounced in connected natural speech. Next, you want to find authentic listening sources. Of course, the internet is a great resource. You may find podcasts, TV and radio shows, even audiobooks, especially those that have a lot of dialogue, as useful resources. Of course, any ESL textbooks or online ESL resources that have an audio component would be excellent sources for listening material. And don't forget, having conversations in English also involves practice listening. You're not only speaking, you're listening as well when you have a conversation. Keep in mind, you want to try to hear a variety of speakers, speaker types, voice types, even different dialects, so that you're familiar with a range of English voices. And lastly, you want to practice active listening whenever you're listening to English. So focus on the guiding questions, the main idea, detail, inference types of questions. You may want to take notes, or after the fact, maybe write a summary, send a text or an email to someone about what you heard. If at all possible, listen again. Go back and listen a second time and see what you can catch the second time that you missed. And if you have the opportunity to role play with a partner, a conversation, or retell what you heard to someone, that's also an excellent way to practice active listening. are just a few tips to help you in your preparation journey. And if you need to know more, if you'd like to know more, visit us at our website, michiganassessment.org. You can email us. And good luck on your journey with Michigan exams. Keep listening.